Welcome to a new daily top AskReddit video. Today's topic.
What screams, poorly educated? Having pride in not knowing something. That always shocks me, but it's pretty common. Some people make ignorance the core of their personality to the point that they're actually proud of all the things they don't know. These are the same people who brag about not having read a book since high school. Let's be honest, they didn't read books while in high school either. Asimov said it best, there is a cult of ignorance in the United States, and there has always been. The strain of anti-intellectualism has been a constant thread winding its way through our political and cultural life, nurtured by the false notion that democracy means that my ignorance is just as good as your knowledge. Using buzzwords without knowing what they mean, especially when you ask them to clarify what they are talking about. And they continue regurgitating the same buzzwords. You're a socialist, fascist, racist, Marxist, communist. Both sides. Quote. When you're in an argument, and the person you are arguing with thinks they are winning because they keep interrupting you and won't let you talk, drives me up a wall. In more than one conversation I have used the phrase, getting louder and repeating yourself doesn't make you less wrong. Quote, I had a person on the phone vehemently arguing with me about a technical thing once. They were a field engineer, tech, and I worked in the office administering the system. I explained the issue and that I was working on it. They continued arguing and said, well, I just don't believe that's true. I was getting pretty frustrated and just said, that's the great thing about truth. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not. Hit the enter key and said, try it now. What do you know, it worked. Lol. Thinking that getting a pay raise means you'll make less money because you are in a higher tax bracket. Employers aren't going out of their way to correct that narrative. If this post gets 200,000 shares, big corporation will donate a kidney to this brave little girl in desperate need. Actually commenting and sharing a FB post to win a custom RV because the last person they tried to give the prize to was underage, so couldn't accept, or anything of that ilk. I remember like 15 years ago seeing a picture on Facebook of a little girl with all kinds of tubes coming out of her, and if this gets 10k shares the doctor will perform the life-saving surgery on her for free, and people sharing it left and right. As if the doctors were so horrible and heartless that they would only perform life-saving surgery if enough people shared her picture. Sorry little girl, you're gonna die cause not enough people care. Oh well. Single quote. Doesn't sound too far from the current American medical system, honestly. Similarly, there was a copy-paste status the most gullible people I knew were sharing years ago, saying that Facebook was moving to a subscription model and that by sharing this post, they were opting out of paying and would continue to use the service for free. Thank you very much. This Reddit comment is heretofore legally binding. Blah blah. Meaningless technical sounding jargon. Alternatively, there was a similar one where they said, oh, I found out Facebook is moving to this model where they can use your pictures and video however they want, so I hereby declare that I don't give Facebook permission. Yada yada. First of all, that was always part of the terms and conditions. It's not new. Secondly, making a declaration to FB on FB about how you aren't going to follow their rules is stupid and definitely not binding. Reading a headline and thinking you now know the whole story. So most Reddit users. No, we go to the comments hoping the bot pastes the content in a comment. Ignore it, then argue about what the headline says. Lack of curiosity, unwillingness to learn. I have talked to neighbors and coworkers that I thought were backwards and unintelligent and been very surprised by their willingness to explain their position and listen to mine and reconsider and learn and maybe even research a little. Those folks are intelligent and growing and have just come to a different conclusion than me, and I can respect that even if I disagree. I have family members who are way more book educated than I am who have drank the Kool-Aid and believe what Facebook and certain news stations that are more like entertainment stations tell them. In snippets. It's like their brains turn off about certain topics and they don't want to debate, understand. Only parrot. I don't judge on grammar or appearance because I don't know other people's backstory. But if you can't be open-minded you are stagnant. Someone I went to school with was telling online how their child asked a very reasonable question about a zoo animal while they were at the zoo and they laughed him off because it was about a bodily function and kids will be kids. I looked it up on my phone and had the answer posted in 2 minutes. They were all, yeah, figures you'd do that. You were always the smart one. And I said no. I have a phone and I used it. The kid was curious. I too was curious. He's not going to know unless you tell him. Too young for his own phone at the time. Teach him how to find out and he will never be ignorant. The worst part is that this same parent was homeschooling at the time. Poor kid. Edit. Thanks for the award, kind anonymous stranger. Whoa. That's bad, and kids going to grow up scared to ask questions if that's anything to go by. I will never understand flat earthers. You can literally see the curvature of Earth depending on where you are. Don't try to reason someone out of an idea they didn't reason themselves into. In the documentary I watched on Netflix, there was a scientist giving a talk to other scientists, and he said the best thing we can do for people that don't accept the scientific model is to keep trying. Something along the lines of being responsible for people not knowing. I liked this thought process. We shouldn't look at ignorant people as them versus us. They're human too. But of course it's fucking frustrating. Haha.